Okay, good afternoon. Today is Monday, January 1st. Happy Monday, everybody. I actually went back to work today. It was the first time in, God, at least a month, I'd say, since I worked. It was extremely hard to get back to work. I didn't want to. I can't remember ever going to work sober and just absolutely dreading, like, not, didn't even, like, couldn't, had to talk myself into and force myself to go to work. And I only worked for 4 hours. This was a very extremely simple job, assembling a couple pieces of furniture for a customer. And I couldn't even, I had no drive, nothing. But, when I got about 2 hours into it, I was feeling better. I started getting back in the groove, and I was like, oh yeah, this is what you got to do to fucking be on the hamster wheel of this ownership of bullshit in this world. So the reason I'm making this video is because I left early today. I had a couple errands to run before I went to the job, and everything was closed. It's New Year's Day, so everything was closed. I wasn't expecting everything to be closed. It was like a ghost town. But everything was closed, and I actually had to run up to the bigger city up here, Winchester, and because my job was up near there. And so I was all over the place, and as I was driving by these places, for instance, like TGI Fridays and Applebee's and Olive Garden and all these other food joints, I was getting the most intense cravings. It was unreal. It was literally unreal. It was so bad, the cravings today and the desires were so bad that when I left the job I was on my way back here, I passed a cattle farm, and they had their sign out front. And as soon as I saw that sign, immediately, there wasn't a split second in between me seeing that sign and my mind just going, went right into a big, juicy, fat hamburger, as well as some like ribs. Right after the hamburger was ribs. It was just nonstop. It was just like, so what I noticed, because, on my way up there today, I passed like TGI Fridays, Applebee's, and what I noticed immediately was like, it wasn't just the food that was hitting my head in these cravings. It was the good times I had, all the times that I've spent with various people, at these different places, and, drinking and having a good time. Now, the one thing I didn't get any kind of craving for whatsoever today was alcohol. When I would pass old bars and stuff like that, I would think about those good times, like that. I craved those good times, but I didn't crave the alcohol at all. But each place I pass, I even passed 7-Eleven. I passed 7-Eleven today. They have those little rollers, those 3 for $5 little rollers that are stuffed, like a breading stuffed with, chicken or buffalo chicken or whatever, different flavors. Huge cravings for that. And, so like when I first left today for the first hour, I was just like, what the fuck is going on? I haven't craved like that at all. Nowhere near like that. So, to just all of a sudden get these cravings was really fucking strange. And they weren't overpowering, but they were like, if I wasn't on a mission, if I didn't have my plan, if I didn't have my mindset and knew that this stuff was poison, then it would have been overpowering, because I would have pulled right over and walked right in wherever and gotten whatever the fuck I wanted. So it wasn't overpowering in that aspect, but it was, let's say, overpowering in the aspect of, at this corner you have 7-Eleven and the chicken rollers. At this corner, you have Sheets and the things I used to get, those potato bombs that I used to get from there. And then you go another mile down the road and you got Applebee's. Another right across the street from Applebee's is Fridays. And then right across from there is the Chinese restaurant. And then across from there is the damn Mexican restaurant. So, it was like overwhelming in the sense that it was every single place that I passed it just brought back a wave of memories of good times and all these different foods. I mean, tons of different foods. And I would guess, okay, so, and then, I got up to Winchester and then I passed Olive Garden. And I mean, oh my God, I mean, the times I've had in these restaurants getting drunk and blasted and just eating, spending however much, a couple $100, easy, boom. Just get whatever you want, eat whatever you want, as much as you want, till you can't eat anymore, till you can't drink anymore. So it really confused me, and this was on my way to my job. And so by the time I got to my job, I was wore out from dealing with all these cravings. I didn't even want to be there in the first place. I was dreading even going there since last night. I didn't want to go to the fucking job. Because I haven't worked in a month, and it feels good to fucking not have to get up at a certain time and be somewhere at a certain time and be responsible for doing something and then do it correctly and then be on a time limit. And it's overwhelming how stressful that is. And we just get so used to it because, we have to, we think we have to, but this is what I'm trying to say. That's why this healing journey is so powerful, is because I didn't realize till after I got out of my customer's house, I got on the road. It wasn't even a mile down the road. I passed that farm, that cattle farm. And when I got I'm out in the middle of nowhere at this point, I'm in the country, and I passed the cattle farm, and immediately it was just like hamburger and then ribs. And then it was like, and there was a whirlwind of other meats and different, things to make with meats. And I was like, what the fuck, man? And, then, I was like, okay, I'm just going to think through this. I'm going to think this so deeply through, that I'm going to just have to crush this because this is getting stupidly ridiculous. And what I realized, so I'm thinking about how much it costs, right? So on my way back home, I got like a 10-mile ride, in the country before I get back into the town of Front Royal and see all these restaurants again, right? So while I'm on that 10-mile, quiet ride, I'm sitting there and I'm going, holy fuck, man, the tens of thousands of dollars I've spent in these restaurants, in these fast food joints. And okay, I'd say easy, probably $5,000 to $10,000 a year, easy, every year to eat, right? And I'm like, holy fuck, dude. I've been working my dick off. That's a lot of fucking money to drop on poisons. Because now, again, none of this is good for you. It's all cooked. It's all dead nutrition. There's no nutrition in this stuff. If there's any kind of nutrition, it's so minimal that it's completely wiped out by the fact that the stuff you're eating is so toxic that your body's just trying to process it all through. You're not getting any kind of nutrition out of this kind of food. Nothing. Zero. Zip, zilch, nothing. And so just, thinking of how much I've worked in my life to be able to shove my fat face with all this goddamn poison, it just blew my fucking mind. That because then it made me think of how hard I've had to work my dick off in order to be able to have that money to be able to spend on these things, right? So then I started thinking, And then of course, my mind always goes back to the fact that it's all poison. It's all man-made chemicals. It's all highly processed. It's all fake. Even the meat is injected with so many fucking toxins. And then I haven't even done a video yet on meat and where I stand on meat now. But just the fact that billions and billions, probably trillions of animals are slaughtered every fucking year for our taste buds is unfucking. It's unfathomable. It's something like 30,000 animals an hour are slaughtered for our taste buds. The numbers are so staggering, phenomenal. It's to any straight thinking person, it will tear you up. Just going and trying to comprehend these numbers is just unfucking real. And that doesn't include how they're treated, the abuse, the horrid living conditions, and everything else. But so getting back to these cravings, so I processed that through of the unbelievable amount of thousands upon thousands of dollars every year that I would have to slave away for to be able to afford to poison myself to go to these places, right? And then by that time, I took 10, 15 minutes processing that and really getting a handle on that, because it really hit me, because I didn't want to be at work today. And I'm like, I want to work as little as fucking possible. I want to continue getting rid of all my bills and all the shit I own and everything I have to make payments on, all this horse shit. I want to get rid of all of it because I see what it's doing. It's enslaving me. It's completely enslaving me. It's the cause of my enslavement is my consumption, right? So on the way back in town, one of the first two places I pass is Fridays again and Applebee's. And again, I'm passing Fridays and I'm like, and I just get this huge rush of all the good times and all the different types of foods and all of this stuff in my head. And I'm like, oh my God, man, this is absolutely fucking nuts. And, so what I did was I went straight back into processing again. And what I realized, why I was like, because there's four different ways that these cravings are coming about, because these cravings come and go, right? Today's been the craziest by far. I was raw fruit and veggies for 6 months prior to this month of juicing, and I did not crave like I crave today at all until today. Well, so I'm tying this all back into, okay, so there's four reasons for these cravings. One is programmings and habits, okay? The programming and habit stems from the fact that for 40 years, I looked at all these poisonous foods in drinking and going out and doing these things and spending this money as a reward. And why was I looking at it as a reward? Because I was doing things which is working my dick off, and which is completely unnatural. We're not supposed to be working the way we are. We're not supposed to be on the time schedules we're on. We're not supposed to be doing all this stuff. So because you have to psych yourself out in order to be able to work that hard, as soon as you get off work, you want to consume so badly. Because you realize what you don't realize until you get on this healing journey is how bad it hurts you to have to work every day, how bad it hurts you to have to be somewhere at a certain time, have these responsibilities, have all this laying on your back, and then to know that, because you can't take it lightly, because everything you own that you have to keep up with every month depends on you getting through that workday. So it's unbelievable, the enslavement that we're under. And it ties back to the fact that it's unnatural. It's completely unnatural to biological life. This is so unnatural. It's mind-boggling how unnatural this is to biological life. It's extremely stressful, guys. We are dying. These sicknesses and illnesses that we have are coming from two places. They're coming from the stress, and it's coming from the poisonous, toxic food that we consume. So the programmings and habits, are two of those things that you wrestle with on this journey, pulling away and detaching. And the problem is that we have psyched ourselves out and into believing and thinking and knowing, right, that we want these things because we deserve them, because we just slaved our asses off so hard, which we don't want to do. Deep down in our subconscious, we don't want to be doing this stupid shit. So it's tied into those, which are huge. And guys, you're not going to break out, for 40 fucking years, you built a program every fucking day, every fucking time you were hurting, every time you were in pain, every time you were, overwhelmed, every time you were stressed out, you ate. You're not going to break this fucking habit in this program just overnight by going, oh, well, I'm not going to do that anymore. No, it's going to take a lot more than that. You got to come to terms with all of the reasons behind all this stuff in order to break these habits. Because if you're still having to go to work and slave, and then you get off work and you can no longer treat yourself because you deserve it, and indulge in all these toxic poisons, it's going to drive you crazy. It almost drove me. It almost drove me crazy today. It's to that point how deep these programs in these habits are. The other thing that this is coming from, like I said, I didn't crave like this for over 6 months as eating raw fruits and veggies, and then the month being on juice. I have not craved like this. So this came out of nowhere, and again, it's tied so strongly into the fact that I had to work today, and it was on me. That stress was on me so badly that the fact that I deserve these things really, really hit me today. That programming came out. But the other thing is that, again, I've been having these heavy detox symptoms for the past week and a half on this juice, because I haven't been having bowel movements that often. Last night, I finally had a bowel movement last night about 2 hours before I went to bed. And as soon as I had that bowel movement, oh my God, it was like fucking a weight off of me. I felt so much better. I could think, I could breathe. I was like, oh, everything's okay. Before that, you're holding on all day. You're like, oh my God, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? It's bad. So what I'm trying to say is with this detox. Okay, so I've been doing this, that colon massage. I've been doing that colon massage because I haven't been having those bowel movements. So I'm massaging my colon, and you have an ascending colon on your right side of your body. You got your ascending colon. It makes a 90-degree turn, or even a little more, comes across underneath your chest cavity there, and then it makes another more than 90-degree turn and goes down. That's your descending colon. Then it goes across back to your middle and down to your asshole, right? So that's your colon. Well, that's I believe they say that's about 6 feet long or so. So, I spent an hour and a half massaging that last night. I spent over an hour the night before massaging it, and I did it the night before and the night before. I've been doing it for 4 days now. So when I finally took a shit last night, dude, I felt so good, so relieved. I felt like a whole different person. Okay? And the reason I mention this is because I think that why these cravings were happening so bad to me today was because I'm still not so much constipated. I mean, everybody's constipated until they take their next shit. But the fact that my intervals between my bowel movements are so long now, right? So and because the juice is breaking up this mucus and this tar inside of me, it's releasing all of these old feelings, all of these old emotions, all of these old, habits, all of these things, right? Because it's a reminder to my body system when it releases and breaks apart again of what, wow, what you used to do when you felt like that. Oh, I used to consume, So it comes from that. So now we got programs, habits, and detox. And then the fourth thing is, did I just cover it? I think I just covered it, the breaking apart of the solidified fecal matter inside your body. So, it's all of those things that contribute to these cravings, because, and this is the conclusion I came to right before I got home, as I get home, and then I'm sitting here talking to Brandon, and after I get home about this, and he was just telling me that he's been doing great. I mean, he's been feeling wonderful. He's been upbeat. He hasn't been going through these detox symptoms until the last couple of days. And then all of a sudden now he's going through detox symptoms, and now he's getting those cravings again. So, just that way you guys know what to expect. I mean, this is this is no joke. You have to have your why. You have to have your how. You have to have your what. You have to have your reasoning behind. Like he was saying, he reasons. Like he gets these cravings and then he reasons. He runs it through the faculty of his mind. I got these cravings today. Like I said, I could have pulled over at any one of these places and whipped out money and fucking sat there and feasted like a king. But I have a why, I have a how, I have a what, that I'm trying to accomplish. I understand that these are all man-made poisons and chemicals, straight up man-made poisons and chemicals. In the meat, I can't ever touch again. I won't ever touch meat again because of, and I'll make a separate video later about this, but I've been wanting to, but I haven't gotten into that yet about why I just can never consume meat again. But so you've got to have a strong how and a strong, and then, of course, the other thing is how it's all tied in to keep me on this hamster wheel of having to go enslave and work my dick off. So, it's all tied in together, and it's all because of consumption. It's all because we desire that. People are like, I got to work so hard because, I got to afford all these things in my life. Well, you don't need your fucking $150 TV subscription that you pay every month. You don't need a fucking, $100 internet bill. You don't need a $100 phone bill. You don't need all these things. When you get down to it, see, you need them right now because you haven't done any of your healing, because you haven't journeyed and done any of your healing. So the thing that needs it inside of you is your ego. Your soul, your spirit does not need these things. Your ego needs these things. The man, the woman that is enslaved and entrapped and ingrained into this system of enslavement needs those things. But your essence and who you are does not need these things, guys. It doesn't. And so because our ego is addicted to all of the entertainment, all of the going out, all of the hanging out, all of the consumption, all of these things that cost us money, that's what keeps you working. So, it just solidified in my mind, especially after talking to Brandon. It solidified in my mind, there's no way. I'm tired of this. I can't do this hamster wheel. If I go back in and do this hamster wheel, I'm going to go all out glutton and just kill myself on over binge on food. And I'll gain 400 pounds in the next year and I'll fucking die of a heart attack. I mean, because I'm done with it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm done. This life, living on this earth in that manner, in a consumption manner, has no meaning behind it. It has no meaning because as soon as you consume, think about this. We go out to these restaurants, have a great time, eat everything we can, buy whatever we want, eat, have a great laughing with the waitress, flirting with the waitress, talking to people beside us, talking with each other, have a few drinks, get drunk. And as soon as you walk out of that restaurant, you want to do it again. It's the hamster wheel, and we keep ourselves on it. As soon as you're done consuming, you want to consume again, no matter how much you stuff yourself with food, alcohol, drugs, it doesn't matter. You do it till you can't do it anymore. And then it doesn't matter if it takes half an hour, 2 hours, 4 hours, however many hours it takes for your stomach to move that food down through enough and that pain to go away, you're ready to do it again. You need that hit again. And it's the same thing. Food is the biggest drug on earth, guys. It is the anchor point of our enslavement. Food is the anchor point of our enslavement, period. But this ties to everything. This ties to all your entertainment. As soon as you're done, watching a movie, you want to watch another one. As soon as you're done doing this, you want to do it again. As soon as you're done, or you got to do something else. But as soon as you're done doing all of these things for the day, and then the next day, you're ready to do them again. It never goes away. It's never the ego is never satisfied because the ego is hurt. And the ego is tied back to our inner child, our young self that was hurt as a baby. So that's why when we have to work and we're under all this stress and things happen and we're stressed out and we're upset, it reminds us subconsciously, of that abuse, that neglect that we took as babies. And it's a subconscious thing. And what we do is we look for the closest solution, the fastest, quickest thing that we can to take our minds away from that pain. And guys, you got to understand, when you eat, you're releasing dopamine, you're releasing chemicals, literal chemicals that the pharmaceutical companies have copied and make their own synthetic drugs based off of those chemicals, and then feed you whenever you get sick. They feed you those pills to make you feel better, to keep you on the consumption wheel. So it's all up to each one of us individually to take this upon ourselves. You're never going to be satisfied. You're always going to be in lack. You're always going to be in desire as long as you keep yourself on this hamster wheel. Like I said, no, you can't expect anybody in this world, nobody and nothing in this world, to treat you better than you treat yourself. And if you are knowingly ingesting daily, throughout the day, if you are knowingly ingesting toxic chemicals, man-made chemicals and poisons and processed bullshit into your mouth, your ears, your eyes, your skin, your nose, whatever, and you're doing it willingly, of your own choice, consenting to it, to harm your physical body, you can't expect anybody in this world to treat you any better. So until you treat yourself the way that somebody that is loved, that's why we have no clue what the word love means. We have no clue. We sit there and tell everybody, oh, I love you, oh, I love you, oh, I love you, I love you, I love you. We throw that fucking word around. We don't even love ourselves. Because someone that loves themselves is not going to purposefully toxify themselves, is not going to purposefully poison themselves. That's ridiculous. That's lunacy. That's idiocracy. That's stupid. It's foolish. It is straight up, guys. All of these words I just said, go look up the definition. That is exactly what being on the hamster wheel is. You are a fool. If you aren't trying to work your way off the hamster wheel right now, you are a fool. If you keep on going back and indulging in these things, and you keep on putting your healing off and putting these things off, and you just keep consuming like a mindless minion, like a slave-minded zombie, you are a fool. By definition, you are a fool. So, and then you're going to sit there and complain about how other people treat you and about how, all of these things, when you are causing and keeping yourself on the hamster wheel, when you are causing your own disease, when you are causing your own headaches and heartaches and pains and suffering and lacks and desires, you are creating that. That's where your free will, the only free will we have in this world is what we put in our mouths, our eyes, our ears, our nose, and on our skin. That's it. And then, for some of us, we can say whatever we want to say, and that's getting taken away quickly. And of course, we can think whatever we want to think. But they're trying to take all that stuff away. So, if you are going to keep on consuming, when they start taking all this stuff away, I don't know what you're going to do. You're in trouble. You're in real trouble. So, like I said, this is up to each one of us individually, and we are willingly consenting to being on the hamster wheel. You do not need your brand new car. You do not need a house with 6 rooms if it's only you living in there. You don't need anything. What do you need a house with 5 rooms? What if it's just you? Why do you need a house with 2 rooms? If it's just you, why do you need a house with a bedroom, a living room, a dining room, a kitchen, 12 closets, 2 bathrooms, a basement, an attic? Think about it, guys. You're paying for all of this space. You're paying for all of this. And in order to afford it, you have to work. You are keeping yourself on the hamster wheel. So I guess that's all I want to say for now. Like I said, I have had this on my back about making a video on the meats and the whole animal abuse and suffering and how that completely pulls us away from our humanity. Because again, guys, all of this that I'm talking about pulls us away from our humanity. It takes us straight away from our humanity. We are not human. By definition, we are not human by being mindless consumers. We are brutes. Because we're not using our faculty of reasoning. We're not thinking about, we are just so mindlessly consuming all this bullshit all day, every day, and going to bed and doing the same thing the next day, going to bed, doing the same thing the next day, and then we complain, and then we're like, oh, I don't want to do this, and then we're diseased. It's insanity, guys. This is foolish, so. Oh, man, yeah. Take care of yourselves because nobody else will.